The world watched Muhammad Ali survive one of the most brutal fights in history, the legendary Thrilla in Manila. 14 rounds, 105-degree heat, Joe Frazier trying to break him. But here's what nobody knew. Ali wasn't just fighting Frazier. He was fighting with 3 fractured ribs. For 22 years, it stayed secret. Until 1997, when sealed medical records surfaced and boxing realized how close it came to losing its greatest icon. This wasn't just a fight. It was a man gambling his life for legacy. And the truth will shock you. October 1, 1975. The night of the Thrilla in Manila. The most savage spectacle boxing had ever witnessed. Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier went to war for 14 punishing rounds in suffocating 105-degree heat. What the world didn't know, what no commentator, no fan, no official realized, was that Ali stepped into that furnace with 3 fractured ribs. 3. The truth stayed entombed in medical files for 22 years. Then, in 1997, a biographer uncovered it. Ali had fought the most brutal contest of his life, carrying injuries that could have ended it. September 15, 1975. Araneta Coliseum Gym, Manila. 2 weeks before the trilogy bout. Ali was sparring with his longtime friend, Jimmy Ellis. 6 rounds in, hard, competitive, routine. At 33, Ali was in magnificent condition, lean, sharp, prepared for carnage. Frazier wanted revenge. Ali wanted final supremacy. Round 7. Ellis dug a left hook into Ali's ribs. Clean, compact, ordinary. Except it wasn't. Ali felt something shift. Not a snap, a pop, like timber splintering but not quite breaking free. He clinched instinctively, buying seconds. "You good?" Ellis asked. "Yeah," Ali replied, masking the flare of pain. "Finish the round." They did, but Ali knew. In the corner, he couldn't inhale deeply with a blade of agony slicing through his left side. Angelo Dundee saw it immediately. "What happened?" "Just a body shot." "Can you breathe?" Ali inhaled. Pain detonated beneath the ribs. "I'm fine." He wasn't. That night, sleep was impossible. Every position hurt. Every breath reminded him. This wasn't bruising. Something inside him had cracked. The next morning, he went to Dr. Ferdy Pacheco. Pressure along the rib cage. Ali winced. "We need x-rays." "No x-rays. If your ribs are broken and Frazier hits you there, you could puncture a lung. You could die." Ali held his gaze. "Then I'd die fighting Joe Frazier." There it was, the finality in his voice. Off-the-record examination confirmed it. 3 ribs fractured, hairline breaks. Each breath caused microscopic movement, enough to ignite stabbing pain. "You can't fight like this," Pacheco insisted. "You'll be compromised every second." "Can you tape it?" "Tape won't fix bone." "Then tape it tight." Pacheco agreed, reluctantly, on one condition: daily monitoring. Any sign of internal danger, he would stop the fight. Ali nodded.
The 2 weeks of secrecy. Training changed overnight. No sparring, no heavy bag, only light shadow boxing, rope work, controlled conditioning. Body contact was forbidden, too risky. Reporters noticed. "Why no sparring?" "He's ready," Dundee said smoothly. Bundini Brown sensed the truth. "What's wrong, champ?" Ali told him. Bundini's face hardened. "You can't fight Frazier like that. He wants to break you." "That's why I have to fight," Ali replied. "If I pull out, he'll say I ran. You might not survive. Then I go out in the greatest fight ever." The final week was torment. He barely slept. Eating hurt. Breathing hurt. Pain medication was minimal. He needed clarity. Every morning, Pacheco examined him. Every morning, he warned him. Every morning, Ali refused to withdraw. The secret stayed locked among 4 men. October 1st, 1975. Fight day. Manila was a furnace. The humidity clung to the skin like wet cloth. The fight began at 10 a.m. local time for American primetime broadcast. In the dressing room, Pacheco wrapped Ali's ribs tight with elastic bandages. Compression stabilized the fractures, but restricted breathing. Broken ribs, limited lung capacity, 105-degree heat. Last chance, Pacheco whispered. Take my hands. The early rounds. Ali bounced, jabbed, moved. Frazier stalked. Every hook to the body was electricity through bone. By round 5, the heat was punishing both men. Sweat pooled on the canvas. Breathing felt like inhaling steam. Round 6, Frazier landed a savage hook directly on the damaged ribs. Ali's knees buckled. He clinched, bought time. You're hurt, Frazier muttered. You wish, Ali gasped. Between rounds, Dundee saw the truth written across his face. The ribs? Ali nodded. Can you go on? I'm not quitting. Rounds 7 through 10. Relentless punishment. Frazier targeted the body. Every impact a reverberation of torture. Commentators noticed Ali's reactions. They called the body shots devastating. They were. Round 11. Another crushing blow. And then something worse. A shift. One rib moved. A new pain. Sharper. Deeper. Pacheco saw Ali's complexion drain of color. This was lethal territory. A displaced rib could pierce the lung, collapse it. Internal bleeding. Death in minutes. Pacheco considered throwing in the towel. Ali avoided eye contact. He knew.
By the time the 14th round began at the Araneta Coliseum, it no longer looked like a boxing match. It looked like survival. Both men were exhausted beyond anything the sport had ever seen. The Manila heat was suffocating, over 100 degrees inside the arena. The air felt thick, heavy, almost chewable. Every breath burned. Muhammad Ali rose slowly from his stool. His chest was tight. Each inhale was shallow. The broken ribs had been absorbing punishment for 13 brutal rounds. Sweat stung his eyes. His legs trembled slightly as he stepped forward. Across the ring, Joe Frazier stood with both eyes nearly swollen shut. His vision was fading, but his will wasn't. The bell rang. The first 30 seconds. Ali didn't dance anymore. The famous footwork was gone. Instead, he planted his feet. He knew he couldn't keep retreating. The ribs wouldn't survive it. So he chose offense. He snapped a sharp jab, then another, then a straight right hand that cracked against Frazier's face. The punches weren't flashy. They were precise, measured, almost mechanical. Frazier kept coming. He always did. He tried to dig to the body again, at left hook he'd been targeting all night. But Ali leaned back just enough. The punch grazed instead of landing clean. That small defensive movement may have saved him from catastrophic damage. Mid-round, Ali takes control. About a minute in, something shifted. Ali began throwing combinations in bursts, 3, 4, 5 punches at a time, jabs followed by straight rights, uppercuts inside the clinch, compact, efficient work. Frazier's head snapped back repeatedly. His eyes were nearly sealed from swelling. He was fighting mostly on instinct now. The left hook still fired occasionally, but it had lost its snap. Ali sensed it. Despite the stabbing pain in his side, he pushed forward. A clean right hand landed flush, then another. Frazier staggered slightly. The crowd roared, not in excitement, but in shock. Both men looked like they were running on fumes, and yet Ali was surging. But inside Ali's body, it was chaos. Every twist of his torso sent a lightning bolt through his ribs. The compression wrapping restricted his breathing. The heat amplified everything. He later admitted that during this round, he thought he might pass out standing up. There's a famous line Ali would say afterward. It was the closest thing to dying I know of. Round 14 is what he was talking about. Final minute, Frazier fading. With about 45 seconds left, Ali unleashed one of the most decisive sequences of the fight. A stiff jab, a right hand, another right, a short uppercut inside. Frazier's head jerked violently. Sweat and water sprayed into the air under the lights. Frazier kept moving forward, blind courage, but he wasn't firing back with the same force. Allie grabbed him in a clinch. Up close, exhausted and barely breathing, Allie reportedly whispered, "You're finished, Joe." Whether Frazier heard him is unclear. His eyes were almost completely closed. When the bell rang to end round 14, Frazier stumbled back to his corner. Allie walked, slowly, to his own. The corner drama. In Allie's corner, Angelo Dundee asked the question he'd been holding in all night. "Can you go one more?" Allie, drenched in sweat, nodded faintly. But in Frazier's corner, trainer Eddie Futch was making a different calculation. Frazier couldn't see. He could barely open his eyes. Futch made one of the most humane decisions in boxing history. He stopped the fight. When Allie was told it was over, he didn't celebrate wildly. He collapsed. He later said if Frazier had come out for round 15, he wasn't sure he could have continued. That's how close it was. Why round 14 matters. Round 14 wasn't about skill. It wasn't about speed. It wasn't even about power. It was about willpower under physical destruction. Allie, with fractured ribs, restricted breathing, and heat exhaustion, found enough inside himself to push through the most dangerous stretch of his career. Frazier, nearly blind, refused to surrender until someone else surrendered for him. It was two men emptying everything. Not for titles, not for money, but because neither could accept quitting. That's why the Thriller in Manila remains legendary. Round 14 was the moment both men reached the edge, and only one was pulled back first.
Muhammad Ali didn't leap onto the ropes. He didn't roar. He didn't raise his arms. He sat down. Then he slumped. His body had nothing left. His legs were trembling uncontrollably. His chest heaved in short, restricted breaths. The tape around his ribs felt like a vice tightening with every inhale. Angelo Dundee later said Ali looked like a man who had run out of blood. Ali whispered something that stunned everyone around him. "I was ready to quit." Those words mattered, because moments earlier, if the fight hadn't been stopped, Dundee himself was considering stopping it. Ali had reached his physical limit. Frazier's corner, a different kind of pain. Across the ring, Joe Frazier was begging to continue. He couldn't see. Both eyes were swollen nearly shut. Trainers were using cold compresses, trying to open them enough to assess damage. He kept saying, "Let me go, I can get him." But Eddie Futch made the decision. "It's all over," Futch told him. Frazier later said that was the moment that hurt more than any punch. He didn't want protection, he wanted one more round. He never forgave that decision completely. The medical emergency. After the gloves were removed and the cameras turned away, the real crisis began. Ali's body temperature was dangerously high, severe dehydration, heat exhaustion, potential heat stroke. Doctors rushed him to the hospital. Once there, scans confirmed something far more serious than exhaustion. 3 fractured ribs. One had shifted during the later rounds. Medical staff reportedly told his team that he had been dangerously close to catastrophic internal injury, a punctured lung, internal bleeding, possible cardiac collapse in that heat. One doctor allegedly said, "Another hard body shot in that condition could have killed him." Ali had fought 14 rounds with broken ribs and suffocating temperatures, and he had almost paid for it with his life.
22 years later. In 1997, biographer Thomas Hauser accessed previously sealed medical documents. 3 fractured ribs, severe risk of death during bout. Hauser confronted Ali. Parkinson's had taken much of his speech. Ali wrote on a pad, "Had to fight, couldn't let Joe win." Pacheco finally told the story. "It was the most dangerous thing I ever witnessed in boxing." Experts later analyzed the medical scenario. Broken ribs in extreme heat, restricted breathing, repeated trauma. The possibilities were grim. Punctured lung, cardiac tamponade, internal bleeding, heat-induced cardiac arrest. There were countless ways he could have died. He didn't. He won, and kept silent for 2 decades. The legacy. The Thriller in Manila was already legendary. Now it was something else. A study in defiance, an exhibition of reckless valor. A man choosing immortality over safety. Late in life, when asked why he fought injured, Ali answered simply, "Some things are bigger than safety." It wasn't rational, it wasn't prudent, it wasn't safe, but it was Ali. He didn't just risk defeat, he risked existence. That night in Manila wasn't merely a boxing match, it was a man wagering his life on legacy. He walked into the ring fractured. He walked out victorious. True greatness isn't invulnerability, it's endurance when you are most breakable. Ali fought the fiercest battle in boxing history with ribs that could have killed him. And he told no one. That isn't just sport. That is immortality carved through suffering.